Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is the Price to Sell podcast, and I'm your host, Matthew Campoli. And today, we're bringing you another marvelous episode. We're bringing you a really good story today, actually. We have an amazing guest, came all the way from Windsor. Took a bit of a hike to get here, so thank you for that hike.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course, it's none other than Mr. Aditya Soma. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And so we'll get right into a little bit about you. I know your stories are incredible.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people will be inspired by where you started to where you're at now. So let's get right into that.
Sure. So first of all, thank you for producing such an awesome content because, as an agent, there is not much content in Canada for realtors to stay motivated, right? So for us, it's kind of for me, I start my day with listening to some cool stories. So definitely, yours is one of them. So
I appreciate that. It's all about we need that in this business.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's so much, we have really bad days, we have really good days.
Yep.
It's so up and down that you need the consistency or something that can give you a consistent, motivating vibe.
Like a fuel for your vehicle. So the vehicle will run smoothly.
Exactly.
That's how I look at it. So to tell about me, I'm actually an immigrant to this country. Came to Canada in 2012 as a student from India, a small village called Padkal in Telangana district. So, my my parents are farmers, worked their whole life. So they borrowed money to send me here. So long story short, I went to school, studied, and after graduation, I got into software, like many immigrants were, struggled during the study time to find a job because, it's whole new country, new language, new culture, a lot of things to learn. After I got into software job, that's where like my, real trying different things have started, like because I was in debt to come to Canada, almost like 50,000, and then 2 years later after my graduation, after I got my job, my sister wedding was planned. That's another 100,000 coming, which is like year down the road. So back home it's the boy's responsibility to take care of the family, so it was my responsibility to take care of that debt. So now it took me 2 years to pay off my study loan after graduating. So now I have another big debt coming in. So that's how that pain, that responsibility put me in a position where I have to search for something that I need to make more money.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do traveling. That's something that I love to, and I want to go back home often. But after seeing working in an IT job for 9 to 5, I didn't see that could happen just with the job because the salary was not enough. So long story short, that's how I got into real estate, by trying different things. Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people have that sort of that fuel or that fire, which for you was created by having the debt to pay off.
Yeah.
It's never fun, never a good feeling, waking up, and it's like, especially if the job you're in, if you're running the numbers and it can't keep up.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're always going to be behind, right?
Honestly, that was the biggest reason why I got into sales, because, the 100,000 debt, I did my math, I at that time, my salary was like 80,000 per year. And after paying my living expenses, if I live frugally, I could save 2,000 to 3,000 a month. So I calculated 100,000 in order to pay that. It takes me 50 months. I don't want to wait that long. So that was a reason.
Yeah, I had a similar thought process when I got out of school. It's like, I can make a certain amount after X amount of years. I'm like, no, I need to get in something that there's no ceiling.
Yeah.
Right? So did you come by yourself when you came?
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, man.
Did you speak English?
So I went to school back home, which is completely in English.
Okay.
But my English was completely broken when I came. Even until 4 years ago, you can still see a difference. So I'm still working on it.
Yeah, it's pretty good though.
Yeah.
And but how was that though? You're coming by yourself.
Yeah. So first thing, it's a huge difference, right? Like going from like having family, friends, because back home it's heavily dependent on the family, like for everything. And all of a sudden after coming here, no family, no friends that I grew up with. So all of a sudden it's like a halo in myself. Like now I have to figure out everything by myself. Honestly, like after 2.5 years, like one day I woke up, literally I had tears in my eyes and I booked my flight to go back home.
Oh, so you were going to quit?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like, missing, right? Like because my whole life was back home. But here it's like, I have to start everything all over again.
Yeah. So you almost quit then, and you almost went back home.
Yeah.
So what was the deciding factor for you? What made you?
Again, the financial responsibility, because back home at that time still I was paying my debt.
Yeah.
So still I haven't completed paying my debts. Yeah. That was the first year when I was in like doing my job.
Yeah.
So I had this responsibility. So if I go back, I just went at least to see my family, to see everyone, to make myself like comfort. Then I said, okay, you know what? I gotta go back because I have to pay my debts. Because if I don't do, my family always lived in debt.
Yeah.
Which I told myself, like, if I don't step up, we're gonna live forever.
The generational curse, we can call it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to break the chains, yeah.
Yeah.
And so. But you didn't start with real estate sales. You started with investing.
Yeah.
So what sparked that for you?
Yeah. So like I was telling, like when I was working full time in IT, I was trying different things. Like I drove Uber. I tried e-commerce, different things. While I was trying, I came across in some event, I don't remember exactly, a young kid. He was making pretty good income from MLM company. And he says, my whole life started with this book. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh, nice. Me too. My first book ever.
Really?
Yeah, 19 years old. I read that.
Until then, I never read any book.
Wow.
And when I saw this guy, and I knew about this book before, because back home, I did network marketing. So I knew about this book. I never read it. But when this guy, for some reason, when this kid's saying that, that helped him to change his life, that was on Friday. And I picked up the book on Friday itself. In the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I finished the whole book.
Wow.
And I came out a whole new person.
Okay.
The biggest takeaway for me from that book is like assets, liabilities.
Yes.
And he talks about real estate, rental properties or assets. Not even home is a liability. That's what he talks in the books, right? Robert Kiyosaki. And he talks all about rental properties. So now I searched on Google, like how to invest in rental properties.
Yeah.
Then another book pop-ups, Investing in Rental Properties by Brandon Turner, the Bigger Pockets guy.
Yeah, the Bigger Pockets.
Yeah,
yes.
I love him. So so that book literally, like, where the whole paradigm shifts for me. Like I don't need that much money, because before that I used to think I need a lot of money to buy real estate. But after reading that book by Brandon, I learned that I can house hack.
Yes.
So that was like aha moment for me. Like, oh, I just need 5% down and I can buy 2 or 3 unit building and live for free.
Yes.
And this is in like 2016 when I started reading. So yeah, that's how, like, I literally did exactly what he told in the book. Go talk to mortgage brokers, go talk to a local realtor. And I found a networking group who was hosted by a realtor. So I started to network and found out how it works. And I got my first house hack in 2017.
Where'd you buy?
A duplex for $102,000.
Wow.
In Windsor.
Okay.
I lived in one unit. Literally what he said, like, that came true. It's like, this other unit was paying for all my expenses.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just for house hacking, if people don't know what it is, it's you live either in the basement, you rent out the top, or vice versa, enough to pay off your living expenses, so you live for free.
Yeah.
So how did that? So you do that. It's a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
You're new to the country, and you're now invested in the country.
Yep.
So how does that change your mindset after that?
Heavily.
Okay.
Because, the biggest expense for me was living.
Yes.
I was paying like, $800 plus utilities. I was like around $1,000, $1,200, right? And all of a sudden here, I'm living for free.
Yeah.
Actually, I was making like $100 cash flow. That was like pretty good for me.
Okay, even better.
Yeah. So, now I started to save up that income.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm already married. And my wife started working. She's making like 1,500 give or take. So we were saving some more money, because now I'm like, I was like on to this networking groups, investing networking groups, and Bigger Pockets, reading a lot of blogs and reading books. I was like, I made myself a goal, like I want to buy 100 rental units by end of 5 years. So that was my goal. And then I was like, what is my next step? I got to save money to buy another investment property. So I started saving while I'm working on this first property. And after 6 months, I bought another one.
Wow.
So I continued to do that. Like after the second one, I ran out of money, because for second one, I have to borrow already money. So I'm like, that's when, again, the books and the networking and everything helped. JVs, different options. Still, I ran out of money because of the 100,000 debt I was telling.
For sure.
So
now fast forward, before we get into the whole real estate sales side, how many doors do you own?
Now 44 doors.
Wow. Good for you, man. How many properties is that?
So pre-constructions are 4. I'm not counting them as doors. Other than 4 pre-constructions, 15 properties.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Thank you.
That's inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for anyone out there who's, thinks the market's hard to get into, it's like, oh, it's way too pricey here, you can do it. Yeah. There's so many options, especially the Windsor market too, right? Now, okay, so let's jump into real estate sales. So now, I imagine what got your interest shifted into like the sales portion. It's like, okay, I'm loving the real estate game. Let me now become a realtor.
Yeah. So honestly, my intention was not to become a realtor, because I was into reading a lot of real estate investing books, investing podcasts, all those things. So I wanted to continue to invest more, do a lot of JVs, get into bigger buildings. That was my goal. But after my second property, now I ran out of money. And at that, this is like in 2017. And my sister's wedding that I was telling, like the responsibility was coming up in 2018. So, and that was like, I had to borrow a lot of money for that wedding. And at this point, like I did 2 more JV deals, but still the real estate investing side, my goal is just a cash flow for financial freedom. So that is not really providing the active income that helps me to pay off my debts. So that's when I started to think. I asked my wife to get licensed so that I can pump in her some leads and I can continue to invest. She tried. She said like, nope, this is not for me. Please don't even force me. So then I said like, I'm already getting into a phase where like this 100,000, it will take me forever and it will stop me continue to invest, because that's a lot of active income. And I have like analyzed myself, like do I want to continue stay in this IT job? Is this something that I see myself staying for longer, or can I find some alternative that I can increase my active income so that I can pay off my debts, but at the same time feel a little bit more passionate, because I was already like, my passion for IT was already almost dying, and I knew myself like I'm more like a people person. So I love talking to people, I love, helping all the similar agent, successful agents skills that you have. Like I knew like I can do better at this. So that's where like it was in 2018 when I started my exams. I got my license in 2019, January 31st. This is like 3.5 years ago. And that was the point where either I can continue to do part-time or quit the job and do full-time, because here I have this huge mountain of debts that I want to pay, and I want to pay as soon as possible. So the more I networked with people who are doing successfully, everyone suggested only one thing, which is go all in. Like Grant Cardone says, go big or go home. So that's what I told myself, like, okay, you know what, maybe it's time for me to go all in, or just try it out for 1 year. If it doesn't work out, if I cannot double my salary, I'll quit. I'll go back to the IT job, because I can find an IT job not that hard. So that's how I got in.
And I imagine you doubled because you're still in it.
So first year actually my goal was to double the salary. Surprisingly, I quadrupled it.
Oh, wow, good for you, man. Okay, so let's talk about day one real estate, because you have no network. You had no network. Right? You, your wife.
No family.
Maybe just the networking group you were a part of. no family here.
Yeah.
So you're like behind most.
Yeah.
Okay.
And debts.
And
so no money to invest.
Okay. So now, right. So let's talk about like your first in real estate. Now, what are you doing? Are you looking into like how are you getting started as an agent?
Yeah. So
for lead gen and all that.
I started my lead gen process on the day I took my exam. Like I decided to take my real estate license. I started my lead gen because
interesting.
Which is I was before I decided to take license. I read a lot and I watched a lot of YouTube videos. So kudos to my good friend Jeff Weibo from London. This guy was already making videos at that time.
Yeah.
And one video he made like that inspired me a lot. Like he said, "Oh, I was a veteran and I quit. There was something happened and he became a realtor, and he made 100,000 in his first year." So he says how he made it and he used YouTube as a source for social media and YouTube. So that was like, oh, that makes sense actually. Maybe I looked at myself. I don't have that much of network because no family here, no family friends. No dad's friends who can buy or sell with me. So I got to do something to have this source of income. So I started my producing content on YouTube on the day. Like my first video I shooted is on the day I took my registered for exam.
Okay. And what was that video about?
Why I love Canada.
Okay.
Because that I couldn't think of any topics.
Yes.
If you go on my channel, just look from the old dated, like there is no proper audio. It was just my wife taking on the phone.
That's cute.
And literally just few points that what I like about Canada.
Mm-hmm. So how many subscribers do you have now?
Now it's over 20,000.
That's amazing, man. Okay, so was YouTube a source for your lead gen? Were you cold calling, door knocking? What were you doing?
I was doing nothing, none of this except social media, the YouTube. And also I used to post the YouTube videos on Facebook, and I opened my Instagram account at that time. So I didn't even had Instagram account until then. So I started just posting here and there on Facebook and Instagram and doing videos. So the videos on there. And on top of it, the biggest advantage that, I was taking is this networking events. I used to attend, like I'm a networking event junkie. Okay. Like I go for, like whenever I see a post somewhere, real estate investing networking event, I'm there.
Yeah.
No matter if it's in Toronto, London, Vancouver. I mean, I didn't go that many events, but mostly I used to go for every event, even till the day.
And what would you say, what are some key tips for YouTube, for example? Like we'll stick to YouTube for a second. What works for you? What kind of videos work for you for lead gen? So if anyone looking out there to get into YouTube space, what are the type of videos that they should focus on?
Yeah, very good question, because YouTube is like YouTube, right? Like it's you. So I learned that from my early in the phase. So I started doing who I am, like my story, what I think about my city, the city I'm living in. I even did like some street walkthroughs. Okay. What I think about the city, what I think about each neighborhoods, what is my real estate portfolio? How did I do my first investments? So it's all about like me, what am I doing, what I'm learning, and who I am. I share about my story as an immigrant, all those. Like, so overall, it's me that the journey that I'm going through, I'm sharing that journey. And the lessons I'm learning, I'm sharing those lessons.
Yeah.
So that's what I would suggest, because when you're trying to do videos that are like more like a salesy, nowadays no one is caring. Yes. So why do we even bother doing those kind of content?
Yes. So you stuck to the authenticity side, just being you. Yeah. Which is huge, and any platform you're on. Yeah. We stress that all the time. I'm big on that too. I don't have YouTube though, but maybe I should start one. We have one here with this, but maybe my own Matt one. Are you still, so your growth, 20K subscribers is a lot. That's hard on YouTube. Yeah. Right? That just came through you being you? Yeah. Are you doing real estate focused videos?
Purely
real estate focused. Real estate. What are some examples?
Windsor tour. Okay. Here's the 5 things I love about Windsor. Pros and cons of Windsor. Yes. And here's my story. And here's how I got into 100K debt. and how I was able to get out.
Those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones. What are your 5 favorite things about Windsor?
5 great things. So first of all, it's many people think it's a smaller city.
Yeah.
It's not really a small city. Mm-hmm. It's like 400,000 population.
Yeah.
And that has access to one of the biggest city that is in US, Detroit.
Yes.
And that's coming up quite a lot because of this electric vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have EV plant coming, and also have one of the biggest University of Windsor. And the riverside. That's beautiful. Like that's my favorite spot. Like I go for walking, biking every day. And the cool thing is like you don't have to, like in Toronto, like we were talking off the video, the traffic.
Yes.
For I can go from one point to another point of the city in 15-20 minutes.
Amazing.
So those are some of
I don't know
my
what that
favorite
feels
and
like.
the prices and the average price. I was lucky. It was in my destiny. Like I was in Windsor, and like I'm still in Windsor, heavily investing, because the prices, like if I was in Toronto, probably I would not even got into real estate, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's a smaller city, the price points were much affordable for someone like me who has no money.
And did you just end up there?
Yeah, it was a destiny. Like
that's very cool.
I was in Toronto. That's why I still have my Toronto number. After my graduation, I was desperate for a job because my debts were cooping up.
Yeah.
So it took me like 6 months, and finally I got a job offer in Windsor. So I'm like, I don't know where is Windsor at that point. Honestly, I literally Googled Windsor location.
Yes.
But hey, I cannot wait anymore. So I need the job.
Do you believe in destiny and like
a lot,
and like some other forces at play, manifesting?
A lot.
Have you read Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah,
my favorite book.
That's my second favorite one.
That was the one that changed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the power of the subconscious. But man, I can see that you're like that, because literally the speed in which you've grown takes a certain mindset, confidence, especially in your position. So I want kudos to you.
Thank you.
For where you've come.
Thank you.
That's amazing. And now you're with EXP?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been a realtor for 3.5 years, you said.
Yeah.
And you have a team.
Yeah.
Huge. And you're an Icon agent.
Yeah. For all 3 years.
Wow. So if you don't know what that is, guys, look that up. That's a massive accomplishment. So now let's talk about just your real estate business in general. Like, what are your main kind of, areas that are killing it for you?
Yeah. So first of all, from my day one, I was investor focused.
Mm-hmm.
So I named myself as an investor focused freedom agent.
So you niche down right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was, again, that was my destiny.
Freedom agent.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's what I call myself.
Very cool.
Because, I worked for my financial freedom.
Okay.
And which, thanks to God, I got my financial freedom through real estate investing.
Mm-hmm.
So now I want to help, hundreds of people, thousands of people. Millions through real estate, how they can achieve financial freedom. So that's, and thankful to my team now. I have like 5 agents, 3 assistants, with a marketing team and all. So it's going very well. So we are helping, like last year we helped 175 homeowners to invest in real estate.
Wow.
Probably out of that, like at least 150 are investors, and rest of them are sellers.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm on my mission to help other people to achieve financial freedom.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm kind of blown away at what you've been able to accomplish, and even the real estate business in 3 years. To have that kind of set up, the team reaching icon status, are you solely focused on Windsor?
Yeah.
So Windsor's your baby.
Windsor is, yes.
I think, do you have kids?
Not yet.
I think your first kid should be named Windsor.
I love that.
I think this is part of the destiny plan here.
I'll propose that to my wife.
I hope what's her name? Mamata. Just give it some thought, okay? Sleep on it for a bit.
That has a deep meaning, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Not at all.
So, your take on the current market, let's say, let's talk about Windsor specifically, because you are the Windsor guy, right? With everything happening, where do you see the Windsor market in, let's say, the next year or two?
I see Windsor is growing.
Okay.
Because, they just inaugurated for EV battery plant.
Mm-hmm.
The bridge construction is still going on, like additional bridge. We have like 1 tunnel and bridge. They're building another one, and the mega hospital that is like in stage 2 right now.
Yep.
They're just these 3 projects itself is like almost 10 billion projects, which is bringing good amount of people into the city for jobs. And also Detroit is coming quite a lot. Like I have like last year we helped at least 10 clients that are like coming from US who has H1 visa. They work in US, but they live in Windsor because, you know, they have like all the health benefits and they can become citizens because they have got permanent residency here. And also citizens who are in Canada, they can work in US. So the job market there is growing. So personally, I strongly believe like Windsor is coming up quite well.
And there are a lot of duplex opportunities, triplex opportunities, multifamily.
Yeah, I would not say there is a lot of opportunities because the inventory is pretty low in the small multifamily area.
Yeah.
But definitely there is, you know, decent amount that you can definitely, you know, if you're hungry, you can find them. That's what I invest in mostly. Like that's what most of our clients invest in, like small multifamily area. They're pretty good opportunities.
And is it safe to say a majority have cash flow potential?
Yes. That's a big part, right? Like, you know, with this interest rates,
yes.
you know, up and down, like where there is a potential for the interest rates to go up. You know, if you're coming with less investment, you don't have too much of a financial stability. If you're buying in, you know, bigger cities like Toronto, you have to have like almost $1 million to buy anything, except you're going for a small condo. But your cash flow is almost like negative $1,000, and adding 1% interest rate onto it or 2% interest onto it, now you're even more minus. Whereas in Windsor, you know, all my properties are positive cash flow. Even like I just bought a building like before this, the price change happened in April, March. I closed in March, which is like at the high peak time. Even that property is like now I'm renovating it. Once I renovate, I'll be having my office for free because the other 5 units will pay pretty much all the expenses. So the opportunities in Windsor, like definitely, if you do look for them, right? If you are paying for turnkey property, obviously the cash flow is very thin. But I see this with the current time period in like the time we are in, with the fear of interest rate going up, there is definitely a lot more opportunities right now for investors. For who are savvy investors, you know, they're always like analyzing the deals if they get a good deal. And this is the time where we are finding good deals.
Let's break down a quick example. An average duplex goes for how much?
500,000.
Okay, and
so you can get like 3,000 if you're a little bit creative. Maybe do one short-term rental, one long-term rental. You can even get 3,500, 4,000. There is good demand for Airbnb.
Yes.
If you do or furnished rental.
Yeah.
So let's go for 3,000, right?
So 500K purchase price. What average? What property tax? What would you say?
Property tax, give or take 2,500.
Okay. So all in all, what kind of cash flow are you looking at? Let's even with the 3,000 low ball.
Yeah. So you're looking at like 300 to 500.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then on average, what do you think? Per year over year. Increase in value. I
mean, so last 3-4 years is an exceptional, right?
It is.
It's crazy. But again, you know, with the growth that is happening in Windsor, like it's crazy. The population growth has been immense, like in last few years. So I'm seeing that will continue because, you know, still the virtual work from home options are still a reality for many people now. Many companies are allowing for people to work. So I'm predicting that will continue. So with once the rates stabilize, then we should be able to see at least 3 to 5% at least a year, conservatively, because not this crazy 10-15%.
Over 30. Yeah, like we saw. That's amazing, man. Yeah, I think Windsor is it's a hidden gem. You know, I recently I didn't know you yet, but I recently had a client that I referred out there.
Okay.
And he purchased, and he's super stoked and hyped. I'm thinking for myself too now. You're getting my wheels turning.
Sure.
So
you're always welcome.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Freedom Agent, as we near the end here, if you have maybe one piece of advice out there for whoever, what would you want to say to them?
Yeah, if an immigrant with a negative balance, with zero connections, zero family background, zero knowledge, I didn't know what drywall it is, what all the work goes in. So if I can do it, you can do it. It's just you gotta put your mind to it, focus, put your blind spots, just narrow your focus on, keep learning and keep executing what you learn, you can do it too.
Yeah, and there's a ton of resources out there.
Yeah.
That he leveraged, and look where he's at now, Yeah. So props, man.
Thank you.
And for all your new fans, because I'm sure you have a lot more now, where can they find you?
On Instagram, YouTube, it's my full name, Aditya Kumar Soma.
Perfect. We're gonna drop all your links and then the bios and everything. But it's been a pleasure. I love your story. I love everything you brought today. Super inspiring. I think, for anyone out there that might be stuck in a little bit of a rut, they're probably fired up now.
Yeah.
So
glad to hear.
Yeah. So thank you for coming. We look forward to the rest of your journey.
Sure.
We look forward to seeing you keep traveling.
Definitely.
Because I do the same thing.
Yeah.
And to everyone out there, once again, thank you so much for always tuning in and staying a consistent consumer. We love you. Please don't forget to tell all your friends, families, dogs, cats. Even if you have a chimpanzee, tell your chimpanzee. But like, subscribe, share. This is the Price to Sell podcast, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.